Releasing on June 21st in cinemas, The Exorcism stars Russell Crowe not long after he was recently in the Pope's Exorcist as of this review. And is this movie actually any good? No. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for taking your own time out to check out this review. My name is Mike. If you're brand new here, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you for sparing your own time. So The Exorcism is a movie I knew nothing about except from it starred Russell Crowe, and I didn't even check a trailer before going into this one. And if you're wondering, well, what is the plot of The Exorcism all around? Well, it focuses on Russell Crowe's character who plays Anthony Miller. Now, Anthony Miller is a character that has had a lot of trauma, and for the past few years his wife hasn't been well. He's developed an alcohol addiction, but long and behold, he recovers from the alcohol addiction. His wife did pass away due to an illness, and he wants to get back into his acting career that he had, and a job comes up on a movie called The Georgetown Project, which I believe is just like a code word for a movie, and he's going to be playing a character called Father Arlington. So a Reverend Father, the character he's going to be playing. And as the shooting days goes on, as you can begin to expect, things start to go downhill. And that is basically what The Exorcism is around, without going into further details into spoilers. Now, this is directed by Joshua John Miller, and is also written by him as well, alongside M.A. Fortin, and those two have worked together recently on some other projects that they've both co-wrote and of course now directing. So I've never seen any of their previous works, but this movie I was also pleasantly surprised to notice that it actually stars Sam Worthington and Chloe Bailey and David Hyde Pierce, which I was like, wow, okay, we've got like a pretty star-studded cast, so what can go wrong? Well, after the first half an hour of this movie, that's where this goes wrong. And it is such a shame to come home, guys, as I've just gotten out of the cinema. I've seen this movie, I was searching for my ticket, but it's right here on the desk. And to say that to you guys, because this honestly had a lot of potential as I watched the first half an hour, as I just mentioned, because in the first half an hour, we see Russell Crowe and we see more kind of behind the scenes on a movie set. And I was like, wow, okay, this is a different take for an Exorcism movie. I was like, bravo, I'm really enjoying this aspect of the filmmaking, because Russell Crowe's character of Anthony Miller, we see him having like an audition. We see him getting to this movie, and it says in red titles, shooting day 1 on a black background. And then of course we start to see him like, okay, so he's getting makeup done. He arrives to set and he sees this huge set that he's going to be a part of. Then we see him getting into costuming and the lighting, and when he gets like a line wrong, the director going like, you know, cut, for example, or the production assistant. And I thought, wow, okay, this is a really great start to a horror movie, but also to show us a bit more behind the scenes of someone who is playing a father character in a demon possession movie that he is making. And I wanted to see more of that. I wish the movie explored more into that territory, because I really feel like it's as if it did, and then start to like add naturally the creep factor, which it does to an extent. I feel like this could have been a really home run and a movie that would have really set itself apart in this overdone exorcism genre. But unfortunately, after that first half an hour, although we've got good performances throughout, I would say everyone gives a good performance, but no one's a clear standout. But after that half an hour, this movie goes into horror trope central. Yeah, you know, you're going to see, okay, well, the character's going to get possessed, right? Of course, that's going to happen, and it's not part of a movie. Then, of course, you're going to have someone to explain some law. Yeah, that happens here as well. Then you're going to have a couple of deaths, and it's just predictable. You can see exactly where it is going to go from the minute after it kind of hits that 30-minute mark, if not beforehand. And I really don't get why they've got Sam Worthington in this movie, because I tell you guys this, right? He's in this movie for maybe about 15 minutes, absolute tops. And it kind of felt more like a contractual obligation that he had to be in The Exorcism, because his part that he does, I honestly felt like anyone could have done that role. We didn't need him in this picture. Was it cool to see him? Yeah, certainly, but I don't feel as if he really belonged, or that he really had to be the perfect pick to play the character of Joe. I didn't feel that whatsoever, and unfortunately, because this movie goes into the trope central and just follows that formula pretty much all the way up until the end, once it starts going more into that trope towards the end, this felt more like a comedy than a horror movie. For some reason, there was a few times I actually laughed out loud to myself, and I was only maybe about 7 people in this, so yeah, you could maybe say it felt a little bit awkward, but it felt more comedic, because you're going to get like a demon voice, right? You're always going to happen, and it definitely does happen here, but then you just get more parts of it where as the end scene happens, and there's a lot of big flashing lights, by the way, so if anyone who's photosensitivity or anything with flashing lights, this is definitely not going to be for you, especially not that scene. And then the camera's all shaky and it's just a mess. Ultimately, guys, this is a movie that started off with really good potential and just absolute went to the wayside as it continued to go on. And I don't know if because this movie was actually made in 2019 and now only being shown in cinemas 5 years later, should this really have just stayed as a shelved project, or should it have maybe been a movie that just went straight to streaming and maybe would have maybe performed better, because I can't see this being a huge box office hit. Apologies. And maybe advertise it with Russell Crowe in the picture and maybe people would check it out, but yeah, I can't see rush out to the cinema to see this one, guys. Wait until streaming. So my overall score for the Exorcism, it's kind of between 2 and a 2.5 at this point, just to be a bit more fair to the movie, because I like that first 30 minutes. But yeah, have you guys seen this movie? Are you going to check it out? Let me know down below in the comment section so we can continue discussion down there. If you've enjoyed this review, as always, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Big thanks to all my awesome Patreons who help to really support the channel. If you want to join Patreon, links down below in the description box from only £2 per month. In the meantime, click over here to see more videos of mine that you may have missed or may have not seen as of yet. And until the next time, I'll see you guys. I was Ian. See you later.